You know, Constance, there aren't just miracles, wonders, or favors granted to Christians.
That's true. Some parish priests received grace, and when you have a direct line to God, things can only go smoothly.
And a man who had God's private number, Father Louis Onésime Desilets. Once upon a time in 1856, in the winter of 1856, as tradition would have it, ice fishing for tomcod or small cod or Christmas fish, in short, an inexpensive fish which delights tourists today. Well, today, fishing starts between Christmas and New Year's Day. In fact, it's definitely after Christmas. But that's up to Mother Nature, who sometimes delays that until mid-January. At the time, the fishing took place on the St. Maurice River and on the north shore of the St. Lawrence River, at the height of Cap de la Madeleine and Champlain. Be that as it may, in 1856, fishing started much earlier, as soon as the ice was thick enough to walk on and set up the famous fishing huts. The fish were plentiful enough that they didn't need Jesus to multiply them. Rumor even had it that sometimes when the ice wasn't solid enough, folks had to shovel fish to cross in a rowboat to get across the St. Maurice River, otherwise they might get stuck between two schools of fish. At midnight in 1856, during midnight mass at Christmas, a great misfortune occurred in the Cap de la Madeleine church. 3 men were comfortably seated, only 3 of them. All the others had stayed in their huts to catch fish. Father Louis Onésime Desilets wasn't very pleased about that. He was in a mood to bring saints down from heaven. Solemnly he announced that from now on, the fish would no longer prevent his parishioners from visiting baby Jesus on Christmas Eve. And believe it or not, the following year, the tomcod didn't swim back up the St. Maurice, and this happened several times in the following years. When Vicar Desilets arrived in 1864, the same thing happened. There was no tomcod. People prayed for many years, and ultimately the fish began to return, albeit 1 month late. So the men could start fishing again, and that no longer disturbed the midnight mass at Christmas. Today, the large paper mills and sawmills that were built along the St. Maurice have forced the tomcod to move to the St. Anne River in Batiscan and St. Geneviève de Batiscan. But if you go fishing, don't do it before midnight mass. Otherwise, you and your clothes will smell like cod until the Easter confession.
Well, you're always exaggerating. But you know that I've always asked God to prepare the miracles that are Grandma's tomcod recipes.
You know that Grandma's listening to this right now.
I like tomcod.
Come on, it was really good. Omelets, fish stew, layered fricassee with potatoes and onions, chowder on a skewer with turnips and mushrooms.
Now, hold on. Stop exaggerating.
It's a source of protein and omega-3. 3 as in the Trinity, Constance. Trinity.
Hey, you can even cook it in the Cape's miraculous water. That's not helpful.
Did you really try that?
I sure did. But cooking it in miraculous water doesn't increase the amount of fish tenfold, although I think it improves the taste tenfold.
Didn't you want to talk about the miraculous water on the Beautiful Features cassette?
Yes, that's right. Just for Grandma's memories. But the memory of my taste buds? In 1894, a water pump was installed near the shrine for the benefits of the pilgrims. Father Duguay said,
On church grounds at about 100 feet or 30 meters from the 2 chapels, which is to say the small shrine and the 3rd church that's no longer there, we installed the pump with an iron pipe buried in the sand all the way down to the water table. An abundant water source is there, and it's never run dry. So pilgrims can head to this source with devotion and bring that water home. Pilgrims claim that the water is responsible for truly miraculous healings.
Go figure. But there's something special about the Cape's water. As proof, in 1912, Charles Numa de Blois knew about a source of brackish water that had interesting properties, something that had been known since 1730. However, the source was rediscovered in 1912.
It was also said to contain way more ingredients and minerals than water from the Saint-Léon-le-Grand or Radnor sources. It was also said to have medicinal properties, and it was recommended for gout, rheumatic pain, as well as constipation.
Dr. de Blois also used it in his sanatorium in downtown Trois-Rivières. But in 1914, the source was diverted further west, where a small cave would be built.
In 2014, the shrine created a new feature.
It bears an inscription recalling an invitation from Mary during one of her apparitions in Lourdes in 1858.
What I like most about it is that you can hear the echo of your own voice when you stand in the middle of it.
But now let's get back to the basilica. We'll meet you there, Grandma, while Louis-Philippe has fun with his echo.